Hey everybody, this is Shake and Bake from shakespub.net. You probably recognize my voice maybe from some of the Survarium English update videos, but I'm here. I've not done a video in a while on Survarium, but they've had this update, the 0.41. They had a couple little minor updates after that one came out. Jumped on here, and obviously you can see the user interface, that's been overhauled and has a whole different look to it. You're in a different setting. It doesn't take long to get used to, and I do like the color and stuff. Pretty straightforward interface, easy to navigate. They've added a lot of things as far as social connecting with other people, basically. In the game, social interaction. You got the friends list, the clans list, shows who's in there, squatting up, all those things on the bottom right. Chat room, chat with squad, chat with clan, all that stuff is pretty cool. There is also these kind of presets you can do with your characters, which is cool too. I've not really played with that yet, but I plan on it. But what I'm really here to talk about today is a couple things. More in game. When I jumped in here a couple days ago, the thing that really jumped out for me is the player movement, the aiming, the hit detection. For me, it seems a lot better. I mean, a lot better. I mean, it's always been okay, but it seems like for me, this is probably the best I've seen it. I'm actually like killing people in the game instead of just dying sometimes. So I jump in the game here and I start playing. You can see, just the aiming, getting, hits on target, even some melee action, all of that stuff. Also, the other thing, now this is maxed out on my PC. Now I'm getting 60 plus frames a second pretty much at all times when I play this game. It's probably the best I've seen it as far as running. I think it's running really smooth. Looks beautiful. Now they've added the new renderer system where you can go in there and you can set that for low-end PCs. You're going to sacrifice visuals, graphics, but it's supposed to help you with performance. So you definitely want to check that out under the graphics settings in game. So we jump in this match. Okay, so we're jumping in this match, and this is Tarkovsky's fort. And, the rainy, gloomy. And one thing I'll say, the visuals, I think it looks beautiful. This is a beautiful looking game. I've said that before. No exception with this update. It's got that gritty, darkish, rainy. I love the rain when it's going on in the matches, the lightning, all that. It just gives it that kind of stalker feel, survival, post-apocalyptic, whatever you want to call it. I just think it's epic. And one thing I said before as well, with Survarium, and in general, Eastern European developers, they are so good at attention to detail, especially on the character, the weapons. I just think they must be their niche. I don't know. The textures, all that, it just looks really, really good, especially for a free-to-play game. So I start running through here, and you're going to see here in a little bit, I start taking out some dudes, and I'm getting killed too, of course. You're going to die a lot in Survarium. That's part of the game. You have to fight differently, I have found in Survarium. Like here we go, fighting these guys right here. But you can see the aiming and hit detection right there. Much better for me, at least, than in the past. And the player movements I'm shooting at don't seem as jerky. I took that dude out with the claymore. And that style of fighting right there, I've found, has been the most successful for me. And that is like almost fighting dirty. Like using claymores and traps and, shooting your weapon, knowing that they're going to come that way and then kind of ambush them. You got to be almost like a dirty fighter. When I go head-to-head, I notice I lose a lot. So you almost have to become like the fox. You have to become cunning. And that, to me, is what is unique about Survarium, is that style of fighting in the FPS. Different than a lot of the other FPSs I play. Is it hard? Yes. Is it a challenge? Yeah. Can it be frustrating? Yeah. But if you like this kind of environment like I do, and you want a challenge You gotta get in there and practice. You got to get in there and play to get better. Now you just saw right there. Also, they do have the VoIP, not VoIP, but basically voice commands in game. You can bring that up. I've got it set to my mouse button, and there was quite a bit of going on in this match. Actually, people were using that to kind of communicate kind of where the enemy were and where they were heading. We got our butts whipped in this match, but it was still a lot of fun. But the main thing I want to again point out, visually, the game looks ridiculous. The movement to me and the hit detection and the aiming down sights and being able to hit somebody running, because used to be kind of when they were running, you could have a challenge hitting them if they were kind of like going back and forth. It was kind of a little jerky. It seems really, really smooth right now and easier to hit a target. So that's one thing I want to talk about. I'll just keep the gameplay going and check it out. The next thing I want to talk about, and some people are going to rage on me, but I don't care. You got to do what's right, I think. And sometimes, these guys have been working on this game, and the big elephant in the room is the PvE, the free play mode. And, people have, who are lovers of the Stalker series, yearn for that again. And I think, when this was coming out, it was mentioned, they did talk about it, and, people really want that. And I get that. I want that. But I don't know if that gives people the reason or the justification, man, to just spew on Vostok Gaming in this game, Survarium, when they post stuff. And it's toned down lately, but there's some people you would think they have no other thing in their life but to wait for this free play mode. Because the vile words and the things they say, man, they're just over the top, man. And so, all I would say is, do we want it to come? Of course you want it to come. Is it something that should send you into a rage of anger and saying the most vile things you can think of just because you're anonymous, you're on the internet, so you feel free, like you feel you can do that. But at the end of the day, you got to look yourself in the mirror. You should, and just think that's wrong, man. And I'm not preaching to any of you. It's wrong. I mean, unless you're that kind of person, that's pretty sad if you are. But it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to vent and say, hey, where's it at? And those things, we were expecting it. Still don't think it's ever okay to say some of the things people are saying. And I think it's just crazy. At the end of the day, it still is just a game. These are people trying to make a living, living in the Ukraine. They got tough situations going on there. And, the game is a work in progress. This game is, I don't know, stage beta or where it's at, alpha or beta right now. I think it's beta. And so they are allowed as developers to make changes and to figure out the priorities and those things. And you as a gamer have an option not to play it. I mean, if it's something, if the free play was all you were interested in, and that was the thing for you, then find something else. I mean, there's other options out there, I think, but to kind of, man, I think you need to just check yourself and move on. I know if I'm unhappy with a dev team or something like that, I just move on to another game. That's your choice as the consumer and the gamer. Is just to move on. It's just showing some maturity. All right, I'm done lecturing. It just bothers me, and I wanted to say something about that because I again see those crazy comments, and I just think, wow, there's something wrong with some people out there. Now, am I hopeful we're going to hear something? Yeah, I am hopeful. Do I think it's going to come? I do think it's going to come. I still think, and I said this before in my prediction, I think a lot of these changes they're making in this PvP mode, in the current game right now, the optimization, the rendering for low NPCs, the performance, the movement, weapons attack, all these things I still think are getting things in alignment for the free play mode. That's just my opinion. That was right there an example what I'm talking about of, in the past, I don't know if I could have been able to run in like that and do that but it just felt real accurate. I felt like it was fluid enough where I could go do that. The hit contact was spot on, and it worked well. And I was even on I'm in North America, and I was on an EU server, so the ping was just over 100-ish. So now, one thing I still would love to see in the future is an expansion of the Play Now button. This guy took me out. He came right through. That was pretty awesome. But more than a Play Now button. I hope that's something in the future we'll see. It does seem limiting as far as waiting for matches, but who knows how that's going to roll out. If I hear something and I'm able to share about the free play mode, man, I'll be the first one to do it. I'd love to get in there and do some video footage when they allow some access and talk about it and pump it up. I think it'd be great. Listen, like I said, we were just getting killed, but this is a beautiful looking map right here. And again, like I said earlier, a lot of them are. So I know some people are going to rage on me. I don't care. My whole life has been, in some ways, I learned a long time ago. You got to say what's right, and there's going to be repercussions, especially on the internet, where people have anonymity, where they can just spew their hatred and just then go down the street and open the door for somebody and say have a good day, making themselves feel like they're a good person. But saying that stuff, I'm back on it. Saying that stuff. It's not like it didn't happen. It's not like you get to say you didn't say that stuff or that's not part of your character because you did it on the internet. You still said it. That's still you. And I wish more people would think about that. It's kind of like, my son the other day and just life lessons about what do you do when nobody sees you? That's like the test of character, right? And, and what I mean by that is, it's 3 a.m, you're at the red light. You run the red light, or let's say you drop some trash, nobody's around, you keep walking and leave it there. And that's that anonymity, where it's a character check. And in my eyes, especially as I've gotten older, I always think that's the true test of who I am. What do I do when nobody's looking? It's the same with the internet. It's like posting all that hate and nastiness. You're like doing that, you're failing that test of what you're doing when nobody's looking. Because basically nobody knows you at that point. And you're hiding behind some fake internet name. Man, this really went on a different path than I planned, but I don't care. I think it needs to be said. And big shout out to you guys out there who've supported my channel and the work I've done. Big shout out to Vostok Gaming. Keep it up, man. Don't let the haters keep you down. Drive on. Keep working on the game. And wishing you guys the best of luck. And I'll see you guys in the gaming world. And I'll see you on the battlefields of Survarium. Cheers, peace, guys.